Hello there, I am Gifty Auntie and welcome to TSP with Gifty Auntie.
Who can deny Gifty?
No.
I don't think anyone shall. Thank you for having me.
Hello there and welcome to TSP with me, Gifty Auntie. Today, you see, I'm in celebratory, mood because I'm about to celebrate a beautiful, amazing, intelligent, brilliant, adventurous, what have you, younger sister of mine. Well, most of you got to know her when she made her debut on radio, especially. Well, we'll talk about that later. But she moved on to do many things. Now she has a massive African-based organization. And I hear that she's going to politics. Is this true? Ladies and gentlemen, well, before then, let me say thank you to Ayansky Fabric for my beautiful silk fabric. This rich auntie, rich auntie vibe dress is by Brie Radra. Thank you so much to her. My hair by Hair Center. Makeup beautifully applied by The Glow Bar. And then, of course, my Beach Twinny Craft and makeup products by Sigma by Maybelline. We're so grateful to all our sponsored and supporters. And now, drum roll. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the one and only amazing Shamima Muslim.
Wow.
Finally.
I was wondering who you were introducing.
Please, it is you. It is you, Shamima.
Thank you.
So proud of you. So proud of you. Take a seat.
Beautiful set.
I'll be back. And welcome back to TSP with me, Gifty Auntie. And my guest today, the woman whose story we are about to capture, her untold story, is the one and only Shamima Muslim. But before she comes on, let me acknowledge my sponsors first. Let me say thank you to our sponsor, Old Mutual. Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan. The new order of retirement is here. Now you can retire on your own terms with a guaranteed monthly income for the rest of your life. Yes, I mean it. Rest of your life. Simply invest a lump sum into the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan today and start receiving monthly income to enjoy the perfect retirement that you deserve. It is that simple. The best part is you get to enjoy added benefits of an annual increase every single year. Call Old Mutual today on 050-453-4333. 050-453-4333, or simply go to www.oldmutual.com or dial *789*01# to request a call. Abrapa. Ahoto Nkwa. We are also sponsored by Telecel. You know the new order. Telecel, you get all the benefit, the quality, the clarity, the data is the most reasonable network you can be on today. We also say thank you to Vena Mineral Water. Vena Mineral Water has a balanced pH level. It has all the required minerals. It is low in sodium. And they also believe in changing lives, and sharing love. So they really make a contribution to help society anytime you buy a bottle of Vena Mineral Water. We also say thank you to Bigo Drinks. And hey, the weekend is here. The week is, in fact, any day, every day, Monday to Sunday. Kidsville is open, and that is where your kids, your children's dreams come alive. Go there, shop for them, from toys to shoes to clothes to whatever newborn gift for, outdooring, naming ceremony, what have you. And they have beautiful balloons. They've got the right people to do. You'd be amazed what they can use the balloons for. So visit them today and have an exciting experience. And don't forget, they're on the Spintex Road next to Noble House. Now, my guest today is Shamima, Muslim Media Development Communication expert. Gender and Inclusion Advocate. So she's Media Development Communication, Gender and Inclusion Advocate. And she's also the founder of ALMA, African
Alliance for
Women in Media Africa.
Yes.
I always put Africa first. I don't even know why.
the A for these people, yeah.
Shamima, welcome. Good to see you.
Good
to see you.
Thank you.
First of all, let me say I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
You are one heck of a confident and bold woman.
We try. We ride on the backs of those who came before us. Like yourself.
Oh, Nyabotre.
It's true.
How's the family doing?
Oh, well, the family has been my top priority for the last decade. I took time off. I did what I had to do.
Right.
And now my hands are a bit free.
How old is the oldest?
The oldest, Uthman, he turns 11 next month.
Can you imagine?
I can't believe it.
Wow.
I can't believe it.
Time flies.
And my second girl turns 10. And I have one who also turns 8. And my last is 4, my girl. So I have 2 boys, 2 girls.
So is it last for now?
Oh, it's sealed.
Shamima.
Signed, sealed, and completed.
Sister Shamima.
Marie. Done.
Dano metia na we you.
Oh, Marie. Marie. Oh, big sis, 4. That on unexpected business.
Sleep.
She was Jara. Oh.
She was Jara. Oh, I was Jara for this.
The way she's giving me shaggy. Lord.
We the Jara people.
No, we're Jara, but Charlie, she is fighting her own. Yeah. So I'm blessed, big sis. I'm doing my best as a mother. It's been a wonderful experience, a learning curve. And yes, I'm taking it all in my stride. Yes.
Is this the life you dreamt of growing up? Is this what you always wanted?
Like where
you are, family, the journey you've traveled so far, professionally.
I couldn't have dreamed it in the specifics that it has panned out. But coming from a large family myself, I've always known that I wanted family too.
Okay.
So that has always been top on the priority.
I heard you wanted a really big family. How many children did you say you wanted?
I was hoping to beat my mom. My mom had 9.
So you wanted 10?
But I'm not sure I can even catch up.
Okay.
I'm not sure I can catch up. She did too well, man. So my mom had 9. My stepmom has 3. So my dad, we're 12, but we lost, my elder brother years ago.
Rest in peace.
So we're still a football team, so that's fine.
So now you're 11. Yeah.
So I also, because of the circumstances of growing up in a large, typical Northern Muslim family where you had to stand up for your rights, else nobody would, I knew that I would be in some form of advocacy. I mean, now I meet a lot of old women who came through our house because our house was like a melting pot. My dad was one of the earliest Wala Muslims to surgeon to the south. And he made success quite early.
Oh, so your dad is a Wala?
He's a Wala man.
Okay.
Mr. Muslim Ismail, many people know him. M. Ismail Ghana Limited was his construction firm. And he always used to go, the children must eat and they must eat well. So quite a lot of people would know him and at that time. And so our house was like the community house. People were coming towards Accra, the south, people coming for health reasons, for economic reasons, will settle in our house. So they will eat morning, afternoon, evening. So that means that there was a lot of work. So it was a typical, Northern Muslim home, community, a large community. So I think a lot of the old women told me that I've always stood up for the vulnerable. Yes, and those stories touch me. Someday I'll tell them, because when they see me, there's a woman who was sick, who's still alive today, who said when she was at our place, every time I came from school, I'll come to her in the room. I would ask, has she eaten? If she hadn't eaten, I would insist that she eats. I'll sit by her to eat, and I took care of quite a number of old women when
Even
my mom
in your younger age.
yes, because I was the first daughter of my mother.
Okay.
So even though I was supposed to be the lazy one, I had disproportionate amount of house chores in that home. You can't be lazy in the home where there's always work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yes, that's the kind of background I had, and I think it shaped me largely to what I'm doing now, where I've dedicated my life to fighting for inclusion and diversity and representation, because I know that but for providence, but for opportunity, I wouldn't be where I am today. But for the courage of my father to step out of his reality and intend to create new realities for his family, I wouldn't have been here today. And education as a leveler continues to be my number one advocate, because when you go back home, says, and you see brilliant, beautiful women who have aged beyond their years, who are going through tough times just because they didn't have opportunity, not because they were not intelligent. Not because they wouldn't have.
Not because they were intelligent, but
there was just no opportunity. They have been conscripted to that house of poverty, almost, generation after generation. Because it is only that education that breaks that generational curse.
And it makes it difficult for anybody from that generation or generations after to break it.
True.
Because then it becomes a chain.
A cycle of poverty. So that's why I knew I would be, I would stand for people's rights. So I'm not so surprised I'm doing what I'm doing. Yes.
Amazing. I mean, I what you just reaffirms, what you just said reaffirms, my belief and, our foundation, the Gifty Auntie Foundation, Girl in Need Foundation. We don't look out for brilliant but needy. We always go out for needy children, because the person you may think is quote unquote dumb, just give that person an opportunity and be amazed what they can really achieve.
That's a very wonderful approach as well.
You'll be amazed, and we've seen them, pass through. And I'm sure with your media estate, but you're a rebel.
Am I really?
Yes, you are.
Sometimes I think I'm not rebel enough.
Maybe not, but you.
Not like you. Your kind of rebellion. Lord, I've not reached there yet.
You have
I try.
You are breaking many societal roles.
Well,
even as a media person.
You can say so, yeah.
As a Muslim and a northern girl. You were one of those to make it on TV with your hijab on.
Yes.
What did he take?
Okay, sis, and it wasn't an easy journey, right? Because my parents are very, I won't call them conservative Muslims, but they are hardcore Muslims. I mean, they've been leaders of our community since as far back as I can remember. My mom rose through the ranks and has led the women's wing of our mosques. So she's been dedicated. Also because her father, Imam Mumin Masala, was the Imam of the Wa Mosque. So my uncle is, my maternal uncle is Movi bin Sali, Amir bin Sali, now. And his bigger brother, Al Hassan Sali, who was a founding member of the New Patriotic Party, but Amir went into the religious way. So the two of them brought Ahmadiyya to Wa, and my maternal grandmother became the grandfather became the Imam of the Wa Mosque, right? So from that angle, I've always known that religiously they've always expected, certain standards
from you.
But then again, because of education, I went to good Christian schools. So I started off at Feeding Preparatory, actually.
Wow.
Then when my mom went to training college, they took all of us to WA, brought us back again. And I went to Morning Star, then to Holy Child, then to Legon.
Right.
So in those spaces, of course, primary, you're not obliged to really cover. Secondary, really not even then. I remember even at Holy Child, when we went for the first time, they told me that, we had to take the prayer mats back and the Quran because there will be no time to pray or do. It's a Christian school. But I'm really proud of my school, Holy Child. Since our time, my cousin will come to that school later on. She'll become the first Muslim head girl in that school, Rahat, because of sheer brilliance.
Wow.
Yes, Mrs. Marie Ajiman, God bless her, really broke the stereotypes then.
Right.
And now we have a large community of Muslim girls who are allowed to fast during the month of Ramadan, who have a teacher patron, who are allowed to go into the community to pray during Eid prayers. That is how far Holy Child as a school has come in embracing inclusion and diversity. That's completely brilliant.
That's impressive.
So when I started the media, I was not covering, even though my mom would insist that, cover. I promised her that she shouldn't worry. When I marry, I'll start covering fully. Okay. But that was radio. But when I was about to start TV. I knew the implications of it.
Yeah.
I knew that
because then everybody will see
me. And I knew that if I was able to break this glass ceiling, it was going to open the doors for many Muslim and Northern girls across the country to aspire to be more and to break, grounds in the media. So I did actually ask if I would be allowed to wear a veil. And I was told that no, it's a secular program. So this is when I was invited first to host Good Morning Ghana. I was told that it's a secular program, and so no, I will not be allowed to wear a veil. The only accommodation they made for me was mostly Fridays when I'll wear, because I'll go to the mosque, so I'll scarf on Fridays. And then during the month of Ramadan, I would scarf throughout, as a consideration, but not wear hijab like I'm wearing now. So I had to take a decision. Do I do it without this hijab or do I not? And ultimately, I thought that sometimes we need to make the sacrifices that will give life to other stories to emerge. So I did it without a veil, okay? And that's the beginning of the story. I did it for a long while without a veil. And when I got married, I started veiling completely. And I got married whilst I was still in the media anyway. But I never returned to television then. Yeah. Now, there have been some opportunities to do TV in one prominent media station. I think I've even told you this story before, if I recall. And contracts, everything was signed. And I got a call that the CEO wanted to speak to me. And the subject matter was whether I would reconsider not wearing a veil on the show. This is just a couple of years ago. Yeah. After I have justified my inclusion. After I have made so much impact within a short space of time.
And I'm sure they came for you.
As a result.
Wanting you to host the program.
The fact that I chose to express my faith was still a barrier. That's why sometimes I say that Ghana is not truly as accommodating as we think we are. We are only accommodating to the extent that those that have rights to claim decide not to claim their rights, because they know of the barriers they would face in their attempt to claim those rights and the opportunities that will be shut, against them if they insisted to claim.
Or they are forced to make painful compromises.
Yes, because of that. So I didn't do that. But once I started being invited to come on television, you would see it. I decided to completely come as my own. Yeah. And I have not had any oppositions since then. And I have fully embraced it because it's a core part of my identity. I have told people that when you come from the minority, and if you listen to my speech when Kamala Harris came, I said I consider myself a minority of minority of minority. Do you see it? And if you come to the basic level, it as a northerner, as a Muslim, even as a Muslim, I'm Ahmadi Muslim, who also face discriminations, across board. Yeah. And then I am a woman. Yeah. And then I'm a citizen of Africa. And these are all levels of discrimination.
And you are a woman in the media.
And I'm a woman in the media. And a Muslim woman in the media. You can't count us
Jesus,
on your fingertips.
I know, right?
So when you feel sometimes that you are like an imposter in many of the spaces you find yourself. That you shouldn't be here. But this is how far God has brought us. And I'm thankful for all the blessings.
You sit back and you look back and reflect, and you know that you broke the glass ceiling for a number of Muslim women.
I did. Absolutely. I mean, in Tamale during my eyewitness news days, if I go to Tamale now, I have a whole community of Shamimes.
Whoa.
A whole community of Shamimes across the country. When I hosted Nana Jane, there's a woman who walked up to me. She's from Takrady. Her daughter is named after Shamima. I have people in my DMs that showing me photos of their girls, Muslim girls that they have named after Shamima. I have stories of a father who decided to name her child Shamima Muslim. So one of my grandfathers, who is close to my dad, was invited. And Nima Mam will be here, and they are there. And I've met that family finally. So he went to do the outdooring. And when he asked of the name, the father said Shamima Muslim plus his name. Then he told her that the Muslim is her father's name. It's not her name. He said, no, he still wants it. So the girl is called Shamima Muslim plus his own name. So when I hear these stories, I am truly humbled. And sometimes I feel that I've not even done enough for the community, because all I've done is just to show my face and do my work in a way that I hope inspires, stories to emerge. But I think that there's so much that power and influence can be used.
I know.
I'm sorry, I didn't expect to.
No, I know.
Yes,
I know.
Thank you.
I know.
Yes, there's still so much that needs to be done, because when you walk the corners of the northern parts of this country and you see the level of poverty and disenfranchisement, you know that you have to be able to be in a position to do more. So, I'm hoping that Allah, who has brought me this far, would be able to help me chart new paths. So every day when I watch what you do, using the power and the platform of your media to do the hard thing of begging. Yes, because you can't use, you're not a businesswoman.
You don't have enough.
You don't have limited amounts of money. And yet you use that platform that God has gifted you with to mobilize, to beg, to face all kinds of, disrespect. Sometimes indignity. Just to bring a smile on the face of, I know profoundly what that means. And every day I say a prayer for you. And I pray that there will be more gifties who would use their platforms to bless people who, through no choice, if we all had choices, when we elect to be born of rich, influential parents, we probably elect to be born in Norway or Denmark and hold a
Dutch
passport. Do you see it? Just today I was watching some statistics of the numbers of young people who have applied for visas to Canada in the last couple of years. From, I hope my phone was here, from 6,000 to 63,000 to 163,000, a million also kind of people. The numbers are increasing of young people wanting to leave this country because we have wholly failed. We have wholly failed. We have.
As you narrate your story, and it's beautiful to have all these girls named after you, but the pain you had to go through so that some girl or some parent would dream to say that I want my daughter to be like her. That's a legacy right there.
Thank you.
That's a legacy that you are leaving even before you are not even 50 yet. So I get it pays off. It's not that easy. The scars are still there, and there are untold stories that may not come out, but they are there. But I want you to look and see that you are making the impact because of you. I know it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been the insults from your own community sometimes. All because you dared.
The expectations too.
Yeah, because you
And,
dared.
you know, there's a level of complexity because people see you and they're like, wow, we didn't know you were this humble. So, well, if you know where I come from, you know that humility must constantly be my middle, you know. So my family dynamic was quite complex. So here we are, my father, an outlier, come to Accra, create a life for his family, open up his home completely to strangers, fed so many people, sometimes at the cost and sacrifice of his own immediate family, most times actually at the cost of his immediate family in terms of our needs and our wants, okay, because we constantly had to spread. But in those communities, you were a hero. You were worshipped, right? And I step beyond my Kotobabi house and I go into Morning Star and I see all these rich kids who don't know what basic house chores are, who don't know that I have to wake up every morning and bathe my younger siblings, wear them their panties and socks before I go get ready, who don't know that there were moments where when there was not porridge, cocoa, we lived almost adjacent the polyclinic in Kotobabi. When your mother was cooking, so we are all two wives in the house. As a little girl, I would have to carry this 5-5 silver. They used to call it 5-5-5. I think it's still the medium one, to walk from Polyclinic to Mamobi, where my mom had a cousin who sold Hausa cocoa. So on the mornings that we were not able, we didn't have the ingredients to cook Hausa cocoa. I had to go and buy Hausa cocoa to come back. Gifty, there was a day that I was about crossing the road and I saw one of my colleagues in school in their car going to school. And I quickly turned because I don't want to mention it. Today, he's the CEO of a big real estate company. They were that rich. And so I turned quickly because I knew their car and I knew it was them going to school. Whilst I was going to buy cocoa and go home before I prepared to go to school. You know, and so I realized that no, life, there will always be inequalities in life. Always be inequalities in life. You'll be celebrated at certain place in certain spaces because in those spaces you are the elevated ones. But when you move to another space, you must join that queue. Because there are people who will always be ahead of you. And it is up to you to learn that spirit of humility as you chart different spaces and learn the lessons along the way and aspire to also be greater whilst you're also, you know, that's the complexity of my life. And that's why I am largely who I am. I don't do clicks. I don't do clicks. I've never done clicks in my life.
Same here.
I don't know how that evolved. Maybe again, minority. And I had a very strong grounding. My father. So sometimes there are positives to overly strictness. Okay, it's not always positive because we as the children today speak about how sometimes we overthink. We overthink before we make decisions, and it's as a result of having your decisions in life always being taken for you. So you grow up. So that's just the negative side of having very, very strict, you know, upbringing. But that kind of upbringing sometimes also grounds you and prevents you from going into things that, you know, you wouldn't make your father or your parents ashamed of you. So that kind of upbringing grounded me quite a bit. Yes,
it's wow, what a journey you've had. Let me take a break. You continue because I mean there's so much now listening to your story we have in common. Because in my book 50 Nuggets at 50, I wrote something about how I was in the midst of a lot of people, but I had no friends. I never felt I belonged there. Right, especially at, you know, Fantasmine Girls. I mean, I never felt I belonged. So people see me and they recognize me. I get because I'm on TV and I wonder, did they see me? Sometimes they talk about, you know, something that happened in school and I don't remember because I was not part of it. Well, that Wala girl who grew up in and Mamobi and Kotobabi and went to the school here, the water feeding to Morning Star to Wesley Holy Child. Hey, Holy Child people, forgive me. Holy Child to Legon to being a Yali scholar to going to the White House to meeting Barack Obama to meeting great men and women of this land. Shamima Muslim. What was your maiden name?
It's Muslim.
Muslim.
Al Hassan is my husband's name.
We hardly use the Al Hassan.
Yes.
It's not Phil. Meanwhile, your husband is my friend.
I know.
Your husband is my very good friend. So on this show,
I'll explain to you. You know, Muslim women, you are not obliged actually to adopt your husband's name because you're actually a daughter of your father, right? So it's not an obligation. Yes. So if the family decides to, but I'm very proud of he's been super.
He's amazing.
He's done great things. To the family and for the family. So
on this show, I'm adding Al Hassan.
So Shamima Muslim Al
Hassan. You know I've got you right.
You can call me that.
Well, again, let me say thank you to Bigo Drinks, to Yep Cleaning Services. They make sure that our environment is clean. Thank you to E-Garden, that's Heaven Zen Gardens on Instagram. You can follow them, find out they have amazing plants. These are all natural plants, in our studio. Thank you so much to Auntie Ekusika Ado. Thank you. I'm so grateful to you. I'm grateful to House of Food, Auntie Vera and the team. It's been 10 years. You still feed us. And we are so, so, so grateful. We say thank you to who else? Our Cuisine for also refreshing us. And Mrs. Oforipoko and the family, thank you so much. And remember the standpoint. Now TSP with Gifty Auntie is 16 years. And as part of our anniversary programs, we are having the Women Call to Worship on the 24th of August at Tema. First time, in Tema. First time ever. On 9th of September, we are feeding 150 pregnant women. We are giving them clothes, wipes, diapers, soap, baby clothes, and what have you. So please, please, please support us, sponsor us. And then in November, we'll go for the Femiton Walk, a women walk for peace. And that will also be in November, and we'll give you the day. So don't miss the program. Don't miss our social media platforms, and we'll be putting more information out there. To be a part of it, to support, to sponsor, please call 0598 586868, 0598 586868, or 020 886 1919. We'll be back. Welcome back to TSP with me, Gifty Auntie, and my guest is Shamima Muslim Al Hassan. You knew I would write that.
I knew you would, and he's going to be very happy with you this evening.
I have to be bigger because next year I have to get my salary.
You know. Well, and you have been bribed.
Yes, openly bribed. Well, again, let me say thank you to Ayansky Fabric for my silk fabric. Thank you so much to them. My is this abaya or kaftan?
Kaftan.
This one kaftan. Perhaps, yes. Okay, kaftan by Brie Redra. Thank you so much. Beats Twinny Crafts, and then makeup by the Global, and of course Shabima's makeup by Pensy Beauty.
Thank you.
Pensy Beauty. Thank you so much to them. Makeup products, as always, by Sigma by Maybelline. Thank you so much to all our supporters and our sponsors. Shamima.
Yes, sis.
I have a belief that as women, what we are looking for is not power, but we need power to be able to achieve what we are looking for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You've been part of the sisterhood, part of the struggle, part of the fight. How far do you think we've come?
Not much. So last week, a couple of weeks ago, I was moderating a program, and I think the World Economic Forum latest report had come up regarding the gender gap and the gender pay gap specifically, and the fact that we are still going to have 135. It will still take us 135 years to be able to bridge the gender gap. When you hear this thing, you feel like just, closing shop, gathering your shoes, go and just sleep and then forget about this whole thing. Because it's like, how and when will we measure true progress and transformation? You see, that's a major issue. But we can't stop the advocacy, because in the midst of all those yawning gaps are brilliant stories that are emerging, and we are counting those stories as impact stories. And if we have many more, because it would take individual impact stories to, break the glass ceiling, but it will not only take individual stories. And that's why the mobilization must continue.
That. It won't only take individual story.
It won't.
It will take collective.
It has to be collective, because the systemic barriers may open up a little for one person to go through. But if we broke those systemic barriers, then many more people would be able to go through it. And one person can do that. You alone at the top can't do that. Telling young ladies that, they must learn the arts of negotiations, they must fight the imposter syndrome,
or marry
those individual are just strategies, individual strategies to overcome. The bigger problem is the mobilization. And that's really where we are seeing a lot of pushback. A couple of years ago at CSW 63, I was there. The theme was that we must push back against the pushback, and that globally we are reporting a pushback against the women's, advocacy and women rights issues. And we are seeing a recline in numbers of women winning elections, into parliament across board, except it is.
Thought that we would rather have experienced. Do you think social media bullying has played a role in that?
It's a major aspect of it. Because with social media has come opportunities for women to be able to tell their stories themselves, and not wait for a media to call them. But with that opportunity, with that power to express your voice and opinion, also comes bullying. Because we are still largely a society that's not comfortable with a woman with strong opinions, okay? And we're still largely a very sexist society that likes to label, especially women, and call them names in order to cower them into silence. That is a problem. We can't give up. We must continue the mobilization. The women's movement in Ghana must energize. And I like what NetRight is doing now. You're on the platform as well. And they've begun these series of intergenerational dialogues, because we need to pull together the new generation that are also tech savvy, that can use these same existing platforms used to bully us. We can push back through those same platforms, okay? But we must fight it together, else, we won't make the progress within our lifetime. And our daughters will be talking about these same things. We hope not. But
we hope not.
It looks like they will still have to talk a few more about these things before, things change. Yeah.
Wow, Shamima. That's a story and a half. This one I can't let you go. We have to do part 2.
Okay.
So please stay tuned. Next week, don't miss TSP with Gifty Auntie. We'll bring you part 2 of Shamima's story. Maybe we should capture that, or we should headline that, the Shamima you never knew. Because I'm sure you are hearing things today. Had you ever seen her cry?
Never.
Thanks for watching. See you same time next week. Bye for now. Shamima, are you ready?
Are
you ready for the politics?
For
going full-time into politics.
What does full-time mean?
I mean, coming out to say that I'm into politics. Partisan politics.
I don't have a formal role, just by way of information. I just don't have any formal role, but it was to be understood that if I made a decision to join a political party, with my history, my father is a founding member of the NDC. That story you mentioned about Obama. When I was in Lagos, I applied to the US Embassy and I was bounced. Okay, when I walked out, my dad was waiting for me. That was my 3rd year. I was also wanting to go and do any work. I was bounced, and my dad's first reply was, "It's not yet time for you to go to the US. If it's time, it will happen." And when it was time, it was just a call nominating me. Of all the media women and men they could nominate in Ghana, it was me, it was Kojo Asante, it was Anas Armeya or Anas who would become the pioneers at that President Obama leadership initiative.
Why is it so important for you to earn your own money?
You see, so that's the bigger, the other. Thank you for asking that question. And it's two answers to that question. So I tell people that I don't have to come and stick my head out to do anything because I am not hungry. I have a roof over my head. I don't pay bills. But this is not the story of many other women. So I am not obliged to. But you see, for every woman, it is important to have a certain level of your own earned income, because you can't possibly, rely on your husband for all your needs, including external needs.